Good morning, everybody. It's Matthew Lee with the Tao of Kung Fu, and today I'm going to talk about doing some exercises to help open the hip. I also do a series of kicking type movements to work on my hip openers. So first, I like to just do a knee exercise to really work. Now, because I'm focusing on the hips, what I really focus on is pushing forward with this hip of the stable leg. And then I focus on raising this one up as high as I can get it, hopefully around my shoulder level, so that I'm getting it really high, and this one is working on that forward thrust. So I'm thrusting in that way and hitting in like that. And I can already feel one side is tighter than the other. So you want to pay attention to that type of thing. The more you know about your body, where you're tense and where you're more relaxed is going to help you train more efficiently, because you'll be able to set your training goals and you'll be able to measure your amount of achievement by your exercises. See the increase by knowing your body better. Once I've done my knees, then I also do like the Muay Thai thing. I love this one, where I open up and sit down. And then I come up, open out, and sit down. So I leave the hips in the same spot, and I just rotate the leg out that way. So I lift it as high as I can, I open it out, set it down. Up, out, and down. What I do really frequently is set my interval timer, and I'm a big fan of interval timers from my time being in the boxing gym. You just heard interval timers going off all the time. It was just like a constant. And anytime I hear an interval timer, when I'm watching YouTube videos or when I'm visiting my buddy's gym or something like that, it just makes you, anything you're doing, you hear an interval timer, you just want to move and do something new. So it's kind of a funny Pavlovian thing that happens when you have been working in gyms like that. You have to do an interval timer and set it maybe for 2 minutes, because you don't want to hurry through these exercises. You want to actually get them deep into the joints and actually get them working on the hips. So once I do the knee openers, then I start doing some actual kicks. So one of my favorite kicks is, for the hip opening, is to do just a straight leg kick, which just swings out and back like a pendulum kick. And it's just like trying to do a point after touchdown, where you're trying to kick the ball up into the field goals. And there isn't really any hinging of the foot. It's all a straight shot, but there's a little bit of a flexibility in the leg. And what you're trying to do is each kick just reach, and you're pushing off this heel, and you're really trying to reach up further and further with the kicking leg, so that it becomes a dynamic stretch. Those dynamic stretches are what give you some really good athletic flexibility, right? So you can feel it. Now the key to that is to stay really relaxed. You're not trying to put power in these kicks. You're trying to get a good dynamic stretch. So you don't want to throw power into them, because remember, you're working on opening your hips. You're not working on ripping your leg apart. So don't throw power into it. The momentum and relaxing and letting the hip swing up and elongate and stretching. And then you're just letting it come back controlled. So no power, you're just working on dynamic stretch, lengthening the joint. So then I go to a sideways of the same thing. And the best way I like for this one is a step across and then open. Step across, and I usually do a combination where I do one to the side and then one to the back. So just like that. I just got a hip pop. So this way I can use the momentum of each kick to feed into the next kick. And that way I'm using less energy, but I'm really working the hips. The way this one works is if I cross step in front, this leg is to the rear, it goes out sideways. And I'm lengthening it that way. It goes back to the rear, and this one goes up backwards. So it's working, stretching on more of the front, and it goes back to the front. This one goes up side, back, back, front, side, step back, kick back. I'm using the heel portion of the foot with this kick, and I'm using the side of the heel portion of the foot with this kick. Those with your interval timer are really good. Go slow with those. Again, those might be movements that you're not used to, especially that sideways one. If your hips are bound, go slow into it and work into getting more and more height. Another exercise that I really like to do is yet another kick, which are the outside and inside smashes. I really prefer to work the inside smash first. I've done a lot of warm-up movements now, so I've got good blood flow, my muscles are awake. Again, I don't do power with these. These aren't necessarily a forceful power kick. They're going to be, again, just working on reach and getting a stretch through the hip joint. I kick with the rear leg for the inside smash or inside crescent kick. And at first, I start slow and low. That's what I always tell my students, is start slow and low. And the way this kick works is that hip action with the hips. So you're getting that swinging action. That's like using that handle of the whip and swinging it out. It's going to swing out and then you crack and come back. So what happens here is I shift the weight and I start pivoting the hip. This leg gives me elevation, and I use that momentum to bring the hip up and back. Up that way. I like giving myself like a little target to hit too on the smash kicks, the straight leg kicks. So I bring the hand up like that as well. And do both legs. Again, start low and slow. The key element of this, again, because we're focusing on our hip, so the key with this, I want to feel it in the hip. If you're not feeling it in the hip, you're not focusing your exercise correctly. So you want to make sure you're doing exactly what you want to for your exercise. So I do an outside smash, again with the rear leg, the same kind of momentum buildup. This time, I kind of open up outward a little bit more. And the leg kicks across like I'm starting a straight leg kick, but I'm starting it off center out here. And then the hip directs it to come across and outside. So it's called outside because it's moving out away from the center line. And an inside smash or an inside crescent is moving inwards towards the center line. So this one's moving in and out, so it's an outside smash. And again, not a lot of power going into these, just relaxation and momentum, so that I can feel that joint elongate and stretch. Those are a lot of my kicking exercises. Then I go into more physical exercises which work on continuing to open up the hips. And I'm going to do another video on that, so keep your eyes open and I'll continue like a good hip opening routine for you. When you're talking hip opening, make sure you're not doing forceful, powerful movements, but relaxed, slow, intentional movements. That's a major key to it. Otherwise, you're going to be building up scar tissue and you're going to be agitating the joint so much that it's actually going to be tighter. And you don't want to get it tighter if you are trying to get more flexibility. You want it to become longer and looser. So make sure that you're practicing correctly and you're getting it nice and stretched so that you've got those beautiful kicks by the time your students show up. That's what's most important. So good luck with the training, and as always, thanks for watching.